that was asked during our workshop. So I'm going to pull that up right now, as well as I'm happy to answer any questions live or in chat later on. And just so we know as well, before I get into the questions, our dementia caregiver community, Dementia Caregiving Made Easier, is open for new members just for a few more days. We close for the rest of the year. Go to dementiasuccesspath.com to join before our doors closed. It's great for any caregivers who are looking for practical information on challenging dementia behaviors, from you're just suspecting your person has dementia all the way to end stages. This is for family caregivers, and this can work for individual professionals as well. So, with all that being said, let's hop right on into the questions. And again, if you guys have any questions live, feel free to pop it in chat or in comments. All right. Question is, yeah, how do I join? Yeah, so you can go to dementiasuccesspath.com. So the same name as this YouTube channel, just with .com at the end. So yeah, awesome. Thank you, Rose, for the question. Alrighty. Hello, welcome, Simone. Good to see you. All right. So, question from Lisa from the workshop is, my mom can't follow directions and she hides everything: her curling iron, rings, picture frames, her pills, all the things. So, I'd say that's pretty typical for folks with dementia, that they aren't able to keep track of their stuff. Hi from Australia. I'm great. But super, super common for them. I mean, clearly they're having memory issues. So, a few different practical solutions that can help with stuff like that. I would say one, if something is super valuable that they tend to lose a lot, I recommend getting some type of uh, tracker on it. So you can buy them from Amazon, or you can get like the Find My iPhone and just maybe duct tape it to it if possible. That way, when they lose the thing, you can just press a button and it sounds an alarm. So it makes it easier for you to find. So that's a practical solution that can help. Additionally, too, if maybe there's super valuable things that they tend to lose a lot, maybe just putting them out of sight, out of mind, and and putting them in a safe place, maybe locking them up, can help when it comes to that type of stuff. So again, if you guys are here live, welcome. I'm happy to answer any questions for you guys live or in the comments if you're watching the replay. I'm happy to help. All right, so that's one question from the workshop. Here is another question from the workshop, since I don't see any questions live yet. What stuff does the membership cover? What is the training on? Yeah, so again, for those who are just now joining, I was just talking about our caregiver community, Dementia Caregiving Made Easier. That is open just for a couple more days for new members. And this group is for folks who are wanting practical solutions. Now, I'll be super frank with you guys. You can find all the information you could possibly need or want for free online. The issue with that, though, is finding it, curating it, knowing what to look for when this information is applicable to you, if this information is applicable to you, is really difficult. And quite frankly, we're already overwhelmed because we're already taking over another adult's life already. So ultimately, what our group is going to do is give you really easily digestible information that's super easy to implement, and a community of people who also think very pragmatically, who are looking for daily solutions and looking to get daily wins. Uh, it's you know what? It's totally fine for the other groups out there to mostly vent or to process their grief. I think those are really important things. However, our group is really about helping each other get daily wins, giving suggestions and saying, hey, try this. This worked for my person. See if it works for you. And then maybe coming back the next day and saying, guys, this worked. Or guys, this didn't work for me. Like, what do you guys think I should do different? It is incredibly helpful, because like the main thing all of our members will consistently say is, finally, I don't feel alone on this journey. Like, I felt like I was the only one who was ever just going through this. And finally, I have people around me that, aren't in denial, who are actually looking for practical things that are going to make our lives easier day to day. Yeah, good question. So I am answering questions from the workshop that I just did. So in case you guys don't know, I just hosted a 3-day workshop uh, called Dementia: How to Prepare for the Future, totally for free. And Now, if we're wanting to go beyond the workshop and wanting to get some practical help, then our membership is open for new members for just a few more days. See, I need to join the group. My mom hates me and says really mean things to me, like I should have never had you. I gave away your brother. I put him up for adoption. I should have done the same with you. Ah, I'm so sorry. That is awful, especially since you're probably just trying to help her. Yeah, definitely join us. You guys can join us at dementiasuccesspath.com if you're interested in joining our group. Our goal is to make it as accessible and as affordable for the most amount of people as possible. Um, Unfortunately, I missed the workshop. Is there any way to catch up? Yeah. Just go to dementiasuccesspath.com and and sign up, or you could shoot me an email at Krista Messenbrink at dementiasuccesspath.com, and I'm happy to get you signed up or send you the replays of everything. I'd say also another easy way too is we have a workshop Facebook group with the replays in there as well. So that would be a pretty easy way to find the replays too. Yeah, great question. So anyways, my hope for all of us, like the point of us doing the whole workshop series to begin with, and the point of all of us, and the point of us curating a community and resources that is actually going to help us with our daily life is that dementia is hard. It's like the hardest thing. Like, I wish that the medical providers out there would emphasize just how heavy of a responsibility it is. Like we know that when we have kids, like when we become parents, but we don't. Too many people do not know that when they basically become the person in charge of another adult's life. Uh, while this isn't like a perfect analogy, because obviously these are adults who have had a whole lifetime of experiences. A lot of like the heavy responsibility uh, looks very similar to watching the childhood development stages go in reverse. So I actually in our group, Dementia Caregiving Made Easier, just did a live workshop right before our big workshop series called "What to Expect for the Later Stages," and it was like shocking how popular that was because folks really just want to understand, like, okay, what am I in for? Like, what does this actually look like, and what do I need to do? And the truth is, especially for later stages, that your person with dementia is going to look like they are a baby, like an infant trapped in an adult person's body. Like what total care actually means is like the level of care you would give like a newborn baby. Like you are feeding them, you are changing their depends, you are they're sleeping all the time. They're struggling with swallowing. Like that's the reality. And while it's can be really scary to think about what's there, like the empowering part of at least knowing that ahead of time is you could be like, okay, well, I know as one singular person, I'm not going to be able to take all of this on. So let's since my person just got diagnosed, or maybe my person is in middle stages, they just moved in with me, let's go to the lawyer, figure out a financial plan, figure out a care plan, and go from there so that at least you're not just like slapped in the face with a crisis. Like that's the whole point of our group. Our group is about actually preparing us for the daily realities that being a caregiver has. And quite frankly, most of the daily realities, I would say, summed up into like one thing would be your person with dementia needs help and they're refusing to accept your help, no matter how desperately they need your help, no matter how obvious it is that they need your help. A good example of this, like one of the videos that uh, got a ton of views here on YouTube as a reel, is they spilled something all over their shirt. It's hugely stained, and yet they are still refusing to let you change that shirt. That's such a common experience, and so many people have no clue what to say, no clue what to do. And that's what our group is all about. That's what Dementia Caregiving Made Easier is all about. Um, let's see. Yeah, absolutely. Where am I from? I'm streaming from Denver, Colorado, in case you guys are curious about that. Okay. Alrighty then. Okay, how do I know my risks? I've just turned 30, and since a few months, I'm getting very forgetful. So Eddie Chill, I would say the likelihood of you having dementia is right now at 30 is extremely low. Uh, I can't say like Clearly there has been people out there where that has happened, but it's extraordinarily rare. Like I'd say you even getting dementia at 50 would be extraordinarily young. So I would say the likelihood of you having Alzheimer's or any type of dementia right now is extremely low. I mean, if you are really concerned, you could always go to a neurologist and try to get diagnosed with something. But my guess is that, you're probably just really stressed out. And I just genuinely doubt that it's likely a thing. Yay! Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We're excited to have you. Oh, well, I do have my water. Thank you for the concern. I do have a big thing of water. So thank you for the reminder. I appreciate that. Uh Yay, I'm so excited that you signed up. That's great. Yeah. Ultimately, the goal with all of this is for us as a community together to be able to just help each other out, to give each other wins. I think a really good mindset shift that's going to help on the caregiver journey is while it is important to grieve what they lost, look forward to some of the things that could happen or are likely to happen with the dementia progression. It's so important to look at what they still can do today. That is probably the most important thing that you can do, and think, how can I support them today with the abilities that they still have? What that does is A, roots you in the present moment, and B, it also helps you be able to just not get lost in the despair. Because it is a really sad, hard disease. It truly is. I'm not, talking about getting wins with caregiving. It is not trying to swat away the reality of that. But I think what's there is when you're so stuck on the grief about it, then it just blinds you to other things that you could be doing. It blinds you to progress that you have been making and things that you're learning. It blinds you to the opportunity that you could have to have an impact for other people. So that's ultimately what our group is all about. Again, Dementia Caregiving Made Easier. If you guys are interested in joining, we are only open for new members for a few more days. You can join us at dementiasuccesspath.com. Let's see. How do I stop my mom from wanting to cook? I do not want her using the stove because she will forget and leave it on. Yeah. So a few different ways. So you can uh, lean in to her desire to cook and just make some adjustments to help her be safer. So maybe unplugging like the gas stove from the wall is probably one safety measure, and then maybe having an electronic stove. If you still feel like she's safe around just like the heat and your concern is leaving it on, I don't know if you guys have ever had Christmas lights. You can buy these electronic timers where once you turn something on, or plug something in, that it will automatically turn off at a specific time so that she can still maintain a certain level of independence without you worrying about her burning the house down. So that could be one thing. I guess another thing is just taking away the stove and having her cook things that don't necessarily require heat, if she can still do that. So again, it's really thinking about things from a perspective of what can she still do? How can I break this down in a way that meets her where she is, ability level wise? Because the reason why, like for example, our folks will constantly ask to go home, or our folks are will really struggle with like resisting any type of help we give them is because they are fighting for their independence. They want to be autonomous. They want to still be adults because that's what they are. So it's not really an issue that they can't do anything. It's more like I think of it as you just got to get creative with what you are. Uh, with the way that you can think, how can they still do this thing even if it looks different than what they like? How can mom still cook? How can mom still participate in laundry? How can mom still participate in dishes? How can mom still participate in tidying up the house? The more our folks like, and this helps a lot even when they're in long-term care, how can they participate in where they live and in their community still with the abilities that they have? I promise you that is going to make a lot of the issues with asking to go home or even a lot of like the depressive type symptoms be a lot better just because they'll start to also see a lot of hope and saying, look, just because I need to do things differently doesn't mean that I'm counted out. It doesn't mean that I stop being who I am. Because a lot of people equate who they are with the things that they do. Like they equate who they are with their ability to do things. And I think we can learn a lot from maybe other disabled people in our life, like maybe like wheelchair users or people like that, as proof that while we may need to do things differently, we can still be participants. We can still engage with people and still give back. Like a great example I always give when it comes to this type of stuff is, if your person with dementia was really involved with like a group of people or was really attached to specific people in their lives, they can absolutely still contribute. Like one great example is if, all they could do is like adult coloring, for example, have them do some adult coloring and make that into a card to give to the local children's hospital if they really cared a lot about the local children's hospital to give encouragement to those kids. They can even give encouragement to other folks that are older too. Like it's, the sky's the limit when it comes to that type of stuff. It's just about how creative you want to be when it comes to this type of stuff. Rose says, my husband has frontotemporal dementia and his walking is affected a lot of times. He can't walk. Is there anything I can do to help him? I don't want to be restricted to a wheelchair and he doesn't want the walker. Yeah. So I had a client actually that for whatever reason it felt better for him to use walking sticks. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that, like, outside of the house because he could still have big risk of falls, but if you have, like, dementia-proofed your house, uh, which I in our community too, if you're wondering, one of, like, the practical ways that our community helps, I have a whole workshop and a whole shopping list on exactly what you can get and what you can do to dementia-proof your house, in a practical way that's easy to find. Uh, yeah, so assuming you do that, maybe having him use some walking stick. Like basically, I just call it like rebranding it. So maybe rebranding the walker as something else that feels a little bit less intimidating. I'd have to think a little bit more on what you call a walker instead of a walker, but uh, also getting some physical therapist in there can also help with that too. Let's see. Eddie Chill says, when I visited Thailand, India earlier this year, I realized we have more dementia related cases as compared to Asian countries. Is there any significant differences? Yeah, lifestyle, for sure. Um, Different eating habits. These Asian countries tend to eat a lot more of a plant-based diet with like meat used as like seasoning for their meals. Uh, so I'd say if you want more information on prevention, I'd highly recommend the Alzheimer's Solution. It was written by two neurologists who did research on Alzheimer's prevention at Loma Linda. Like, I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. I just really love their book. And I really think it's a great evidence based place to look as far as prevention goes. But yeah, like the food, that's a huge thing. Just to summarize it, inflammation is what is your biggest risk factor for developing dementia of all kinds. Basically, anything that would up your risk of like heart disease or stroke or things like that are all the same things that are upping your risk of dementia. So, the less stress you can experience, like the more self care you can do to lower your stress, the better sleep you have, better diet you have, uh, the more exercise that allows blood to move freely through your body, the less likely it is you're going to have dementia. With that being said, I always have folks who end up saying, "Well, my mother lived a perfect life and she still got it." It's like, I mean, it's both it's a combination of genetics and lifestyle, but it tends to lean pretty heavy on lifestyle for most people. However, some people are just unlucky. Some people are just genetically unlucky. You can get your genetics tested, by the way, to see what your risk would be. But just because your parents had dementia doesn't mean it's your destiny is sealed by any means. Maybe what you and your parents have in common is that you both have a terrible diet. So I'm not saying that's necessarily the case, but that tends to be the thing. Okay. All right. All right. Man, we're getting some trolls here. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I cook for her. She's near the end stages. Okay. All right. Yeah, there's some people I need to remove for sure. Okay. Let's see. Perfect. Yeah, some weird folks here. Okay. Oh, welcome from Germany. Okay. Let's see. All right. Thank you guys who are here. Yeah, I know. I'm removing a lot of the trolls here that infiltrated this. Fear not, everybody. If you have some genuine dementia questions, feel free to ask in chat. Let's see. My mom will only eat sweet pancake. Sweet pancakes are my friend. The name of the book that I was just talking about is The Alzheimer's Solution. Yeah, it is smart to prepare when you think your spouse is going down the dementia road. I think it's definitely smart. It definitely does not hurt to get tested. It does not hurt to start some preventative things like improving your diet, like lowering your stress, like consistent exercises. Are narcissists more prone to dementia? I don't think so. I feel like I don't know if like sometimes people who I'm not saying narcissism is necessarily a is the book on Audible? Probably. Um, okay. Yeah, I'm doing this solo. That's why it took a little bit to get a lot of the trolls out of here. But I think most of them are leaving, so no problem. Let's see. On average, how likely it is to have dementia and be self-aware. It depends on where you are. So dementia, it's a spectrum. So there's all different types of like you could be at early, middle, or late stages. So I'd say definitely in the early stage, it's very common to be self-aware. In middle stages, it's pretty common to be self-aware. Like I've straight up had people saying, yeah, like what's going to happen to me when the dementia keeps going, things of that nature. So yeah, definitely. Oh, I'm so glad, Crick. I'm so glad that I could help. Is the ketogenic diet good or not good for dementia? Um, yeah, that's a complex one. So I would say any diet that cuts out like uh a whole macronutrient I would probably say isn't great for the long term. But I would talk with your doctor for sure. But I've definitely heard of people who maybe had like a lot of inflammation who were really struggling with their weight, for example, go on a ketogenic diet for short term. So I think of it this way. So ketogenic diet is like a good like quick intervention. Like it's something that like if there's like a lot of high inflammation, a lot of bad things going on, it can help quickly get things down to baseline. And then I recommend something like the mind diet, or a more like plant-based diet to help with maintenance moving forward. That's definitely what the Alzheimer's solution recommends for sure. Uh, yeah, but that is a good question for sure. All right. And again, if you guys are looking for more pragmatic answers when it comes to how to deal with dementia day to day, uh, our group is open for new members. It's called Dementia Caregiving Made Easier. You could go to dementiasuccesspath.com to join our group. We are only open for new members for just a couple more days. Um, let's see, ketones increase BDNF could be handy at least to slow down the progression. Yeah, James, I would say everybody's different. Like I could definitely see that being a thing if like you are like your person is diabetic or that type of stuff. So I think that would be really helpful. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad it helped you at each hill. That's great. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the whole goal of putting out very affordable or free dementia content is to make sure that the most amount of people have access to more practical day-to-day stuff. Like definitely the preventative stuff is helpful. It can even help someone who's already been diagnosed, like their quality of life. It could absolutely help them. But at the end of the day, once that, like, we want to think of dementia less as like them being kind of forgetful and more as they are incurring brain damage over time. And once those neural connections are dead, they are dead, they are gone. Uh, so there is no cure for that. That's why once they get to a certain point, they get past like a tipping point, which typically happens when they start seeing symptoms, when they're diagnosed. It's difficult, if not possible, to turn that ship around, even with all the greatest lifestyle interventions there. So typically, uh, Like you can, again, you can get genetic testing to see what your risk is and really ramp up the lifestyle interventions. That can be a big help. Let's see. Leads to memory loss, movements. Okay. My mom has both Alzheimer's and vascular dementia. Overachiever. She doesn't seem to see the need to use the toilet since she is in diapers. Any advice to get her to use the toilet? Yeah, I just get curious. I'd ask her, why do we feel more comfortable with the diaper? Why diaper over toilet? If she still has some language, if she doesn't, I mean, it could be that she has a hard time getting up and down. Maybe she has a hard time sitting down and getting back up. Maybe like for some people, for example, they've been trained their whole life to see like public toilets as dirty and something they need to like kind of hover over, and she may mistake like her home toilet for a public one. So sometimes her just seeing you like wipe down the toilet seat clean can really help. Um, yeah. See. I'm so glad there's still normal live streams. Keep up the great vibes. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I don't know what's up with all these like really weird extremist pipeline type stuff. But yeah, here on this channel we talk about practical solutions for the daily challenges that dementia brings us. Again, prevention is great. It can help obviously prevent dementia from happening in the first place and help with quality of life of people who already have it. But at the end of the day, if we are already in dementia caregiving, we need to know how do I get my person to shower? How do I get them to change their clothes? How do I get them to change their depends? Because like that's like one of the biggest thing. We assume, or maybe we just naive, we just don't know. Yeah, like if my person needs help, they'll accept my help. Spoiler alert, they're not gonna. Something that's really common about dementia in general is that they don't have good insight on what uh, they can or can't do. Like they just will keep believing that they can do everything normal even when they can't. It does not matter how much logic, evidence, or reason you show them. Again, you're talking to a brain damaged person. We got to work with what they believe is true versus work against it. I use your shower trick with my mom-in-law all the time. The warm water before she gets in the bathroom and not wasting the warm water. Fantastic. Yay, Sherry. Sherry, are you going to join our group? Dementia Caregiving Made Easier since you've gotten that win? I bet a bunch of folks in our group would love to hear that. Again, dementiasuccesspath.com if you would like to join our group. We would love to have you. All right. Oh, thanks. Thanks for coming. Thanks so much for your content. Any suggestions on how to keep my mom from organizing things in quotations? She's losing important things, documents, and items, wanting to be organized. Yeah, Sherry, definitely. Go to dementiasuccesspath.com and join our membership. We'd love to have you. Um, yeah, so again, you're not necessarily going to prevent her from, like, you're not going to convince her to stop organizing things. Again, logic, evidence, and reason does not work with people who have brain damage from dementia. What will work is changing the environment so that she doesn't have access to the things she organizes anymore, or maybe giving her a drawer of things she can organize. So it's not super helpful to constantly tell people with dementia or just anybody in general, to be honest with you, all the things they can't do all the time. It is more helpful to tell them this is what you can do. So that could be something that could really help. Has anyone tried Reiki with a skilled practitioner? My mother-in-law went from being put in home to have many of her skill sets back, cured from. I mean, that's great if that's true. Okay. Uh, let's see. How much does it cost, if anything? Yeah, good question. So, Dementia Caregiving Made Easier, our community, our goal is for it to be something that's really affordable and accessible to everybody. So yeah, it could be as inexpensive as like a cup of coffee. So the goal is because here I'll be super real with you guys. You can find literally everything I'm telling you for free online. I think the rub here though is when you've never dealt with dementia before, you don't always know what to look for, what to expect, what's real information, what's relevant to you, if something's actually going to work. It can be really time consuming and really hard to curate and find all this information. With our community, it is all done for you. We have shopping lists, guides, what to say, what not to say, how to dementia proof your house, what to ask for help with. when people say, "Hey, let me know if I can help you with anything." All that's done for you. We have live workshops where you can practice your skills on how to calm somebody down with dementia, how to respond when they ask to go home. You see yourself or maybe other people practicing. We have videos that do similar things as short as 30 seconds, as long as like 5 minutes. Uh, all of these things, as well as one on one coaching with me. If you really need some intense personal help, I do it for less than half of what most people online charge for coaching, like through the membership. It is, I'd say, the very best value that we offer. And you can go up and down as needed. So you're not necessarily locked into any one tier of our group. You can move up and down as needed. You can join our group by going to dementiasuccesspath.com. Um, let's see. Yeah, oh, okay. It's difficult for my grandkids get angry and calls him stupid for struggling with something. Yeah, it's definitely really hard when maybe your co-caregivers are uh don't necessarily know what to do and aren't particularly interested in learning more. So again really just depends on what type of energy level you have with educating them, but I'd say what's there for them is making sure that if you are willing to try to help them, just come into them with curiosity and with an open mind. So just get curious about what do they perceive to be problems. Ask them how they think that what they've been doing, like how they think that's been working so far, and then speak to the things that they perceive as problems. Why that makes a bigger difference is that our folks with dementia, or our folks who are trying to help us and help our person with dementia, they're probably feeling overwhelmed and they are probably just having a hard time. And quite frankly, the truth about most people is they just don't want to be told what to do. They want to feel like that they are coming up with, like they are making choices about their own approaches themselves. So that would be really, I'd say that's would be my recommendation. Oh, of course. Oh, thank you so much, Simone. Simone, let me know if you're going to join our group, Dementia Caregiving Made Easier. We would love to have you. All right. And thanks for coming on live with us. We really appreciate it. All right. Let's see. I'll move on to another question from the workshop. Uh, let's see. Let's see. I found a group home for my mom, but my stepdad doesn't like what they told him. Once she goes there, we cannot visit for 1 to 2 weeks, or even put down a deposit. What do we do? All right. So I'd say what's there when it comes to long-term care, finding long-term care, helping them adjust to long-term care, is anytime you place them in memory care or a nursing home, it is often these places will recommend that you not visit in person for about a month. And the reason being is sometimes they can just have a hard time transitioning and adjusting and learning to trust the people around them. So it helps a lot just to give them time and space to build that up with the people. Like I know it sounds silly when you're like, but how they may not remember these people. Memories are a little different when it comes to dementia. It's like their brain stops being able to take in information and it starts to just like they develop like feelings. Like it's almost like their emotions take over as their memory. So a good example of this is if you had an argument with your person with dementia, you left and came back and they may not remember that they had the argument with you, but they still feel kind of angry at you. That's what I mean by that. So that's how the people that work at these long-term care places build these relationships with their folks with dementia and builds that trust and that safety with them. Um, okay, alrighty. Let's see. I'm selling my mom's house and she doesn't know it. I think she would freak out. That's her life savings. She lives in Tampa, Florida, and she's here with me in Tennessee. I can't go there. Yeah, for sure. So I think what's there, like I know it's so hard um as far as that type of stuff goes, but ultimately likely is just unable to, due to the brain damage, able to really take into account the financial planning it's going to take to make sure she's well taken care of. So I'd say what's there is, you know, you know your mom better than I do. So if she, like, it really just depends on what she believes. Like if she has an understanding about her dementia still, then it might be worth talking to her about that in really like simple terms. But if she has absolutely no clue, then I wouldn't. Then I wouldn't do that. So yeah. Uh, yeah, good question. All right. Let's see. I follow you and I love your reels, but those answer all my questions. I honestly don't think it'd be worth it to spend money on a membership community. Am I missing something? Yeah. So again, for those who are just joining us, Dementia Caregiving Made Easier is our membership community. And it's very fair. Like I've said before, you can absolutely find answers and resources for free online. Again, it's really much the difference between it's kind of the same way how when you can cook food at home, but when you go out to eat, you are paying for the convenience of someone who is cooking that food for you and presenting it in a way that is more palatable to you. What our group does as well, as far as the more curated resources, the done for you ness of it, as well as our community of people. It would be a lot harder to curate this community of people who are practical, like here, like I just want to get some wins in my daily life as a caregiver versus in a lot of the Facebook groups out there. Uh, a lot of those folks are, again, really want to vent, really stuck in their grief. Again, nothing necessarily wrong with that. That's just what tends to be out there more. So it's really the difference between, do you want something done for you or something that you'd have to curate yourself? Everybody's going to be a little bit different when it comes to that. We want it to be as affordable as humanly possible. So for like just a cup of coffee, you could have 24 access to asking me questions in our Facebook group, as well as having something we call our Help Now app, which is a searchable and in categories type uh, video search engine of all the videos, short videos I've ever done. So that way, instead of having to like scroll through like a big timeline of stuff I've ever done, you're able to just type in like anger. They're angry about this, and then just instantly get to your answer. The idea is that you would use it for, let's say you get into a situation, maybe you step out for 30 seconds, watch the video, and then immediately try what you just watched. So that would be like I'd say that's for like a cup of coffee. If you like say, I don't know what, like, guys, let me know in chat like what kind of food you guys like to go out and eat. Like for the price of going out to eat a month at like a fast casual place. We offer live workshops where you get to practice in person with me, or you get the replays if you can't necessarily make it live, as well as a bunch of printable cheat sheets. Again, if you're just like, I have no idea how to dementia proof my house, we have a whole workshop replay and a whole shopping list for you. If you're saying, I need help, but I have no idea who to, like what to ask for help with, we've created a whole list for you. Again, that's the whole point, is for it to be done for you. And then if you are super, super uh, in the weeds, we offer one-on-one coaching for like less than half of what people typically charge online for it, like, which is crazy. Uh, and you can move up and down because the truth is our needs are going to change as time goes on. So what we may need a lot of help one month and not as much help the next, and you could always move up or down. So okay. Alrighty. So, anyways, that is our group, Dementia Caregiving Made Easier. You can go join us at Dementia Caregiving Made, or you could go to dementiasuccesspath.com and join our group. We're only open for new members for just a couple more days. So, um, I think it's a really good deal. All right. Let's see. More workshop questions. Let's see. How would you react if your person is hospitalized and asking to go home, or even trying to escape from the hospital? Yeah. So I would say what's there, and I had some people do this when I was working in Jerry Psych. Come again, which group? Yeah. So dementia successpath.com is the website. My membership community is called Dementia Caregiving Made Easier. So you can find it at dementiasuccesspath.com, the same name as this YouTube channel with .com at the end of it, is where you would be able to sign up for my membership for just a couple more days until we close for the rest of this year. The reason why we do that is because it's a lot easier to meet people, melt with the community all at once versus like people popping in at random times. So, anyways, back to the escape artist question. Um, what you can do uh, in order to help uh, with your person asking to go home is maybe ask them, "Hey, do you know where you are right now?" That can really help when it comes to medical setting because that feels really foreign. It's like, have you ever been to a hospital before? Yeah, that's where we're at. We're going to be out in just a little bit. Believe it or not, that does really work with folks. Let's see, is there anything to slow dementia down? Yeah, there actually is. If you are in early stages of dementia, there are like infusions that you can take. One in particular that's been approved fairly recently by the FDA in the US is called Leqembi. Uh, so what that does is it can clear some of the, if you have Alzheimer's, it can clear some of the amyloid beta and or the amyloid plaques and the tau tangles out of the brain that are forming. It doesn't help with like the brain damage that's already been caused, but it can help slow it down for sure. It is covered by Medicare, I believe. I don't know. I would double check and see what your insurance will do. Any tips to prove cognitive function? Yeah, uh, lifestyle interventions. So just for all of it in one place, the Alzheimer's solution. I'm not sponsored by them. They're not giving me anything to say this. They, again, this book was written by two neurologists, so I really just believe in their work. They just talk about, really unsexy things to help prevent it. Better diet, exercise, less stress, better quality sleep, that type of stuff. Let's see. That would be my answer to the question. Remind the patient that they are in a safe environment and you are there to support them, reassuring their needs or wants, showing a positive attitude. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I have heard that I look like Natalie Portman a few times for sure. I'm not mad. She's beautiful, so I'll take it. For sure. Like she's gorgeous. So yeah, cool. I worked in a nursing home. An elder lady got sundowners every day searching for her mom. I tried to tell her she went to the grocery store. She calmed down, but that was just for 2 to 5 minutes. Yeah. So, what I find to be actually a little bit more of an effective method for that is instead of trying to like pull out like an explanation just out of thin air, I ask what I call leading questions. So what that means is if what you could say is like, well, when your mom's not with you, where is mom normally? Or it's 2 o'clock. Where is mom usually at when she's not with you? That way she can give you an answer and you can just agree with her. So that way you're never given the wrong answer when it comes to that. Let's see, tried giving her a task and it didn't work. Yeah, my thought is because she probably still had a little bit of anxiety built up about it. And maybe in the back of her mind, she's like, oh, I don't know if she's actually at the grocery store. Um, so, anyways, that is what I would recommend. All right. Awesome. Yeah, great question. See. All right. I'll see about asking any other questions. What does the membership cover? What is the training on? Yeah. So our group, Dementia Caregiving Made Easier, is all about giving folks practical tools that are going to help them with day to day taking care of someone with dementia. So, what this could look like is like how to calm them down when they ask to go home, what to do when they get super angry. What are some things we should be looking at as far as long-term care? Actually, that's going to be our next members workshop in our member space is talking about what the future of Medicaid is likely going to look like. So Um, okay. So, anyways, that is what's there. I'd say additionally too, a lot of it is just stuff that's done for you. So, if you're more of a book person, we got cheat sheets. If that's the best way you learn. If you're more like a podcast person, we have replays of all our previous workshops that we've ever done that you can listen to. If you're like a YouTube person, which clearly we all are since we're here on YouTube right now, then we have our video roadmap that tells you exactly um, what to do when. Let's see. Do we have to take antidepressants lifelong? Doctor suggesting me to take some. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure about that. I'd probably get a second opinion with a different doctor. I don't know enough about antidepressants with like the larger population. As far as like medications with folks with dementia, though, uh, that can be a lot trickier. There's some people who think, well, if my person's challenging behaviors get out of control, I can just give them meds and everything will be cool, right? Wrong, unfortunately. Uh, these medications, like they can't be developed for folks with dementia, and the reason being is their brain chemistry is changing so rapidly that it'd be impossible for these researchers or these doctors to create trials that would actually be accurate. So typically what happens if someone is so with dementia is so anxious that they're shaking or they are have psychotic episodes or they are even like violent, which I'd say is in the minority of people with dementia. Can happen, but in the minority. Typically they are just trying stuff like antidepressants or antipsychotics or uh, and anxiety medication, stuff like that, and just seeing if something sticks. So I see medication for folks with dementia as a last resort versus like a first thing we try because it can cause a lot of really nasty side effects for them. Namely, one of the biggest ones I'd see is like loss of balance. When I was working in Jerry Psych, like a lot of those folks are in wheelchairs because their bodies are just having a tough time adjusting to the meds. So uh, we also in the member space have a few different workshops led by a nurse practitioner and a psychiatric doctor um, educating everybody about this. Let's see, as well as a cheat sheet about all the common dementia medications. My loved one has mild cognitive impairment, and she once wanted to shred important tax documents, and that turned into a huge argument. Yeah, for sure. So for someone in earlier stages, I think something a lot of people aren't expecting is that they don't have great insight when it comes to more complex things like tax documents or bills or driving or things of that nature. So I find it more effective, or like scams. That's another big thing too. So it's a lot easier to change the environment around them versus like have these arguments with them. What I mean by that is next time you probably just want to hide the important tax documents from them or and that's why getting a power of attorney is really really important so that you're able to have access to their financials, have access to um, medical decisions as well. uh, let's see, my grandfather's dementia, he gets very angry and aggressive when my father visits because he's convinced my dad is an ex of my grandmother. It's very distressing for all of us. Any ideas on how to deal? Yeah. That is really challenging. Unfortunately, it sounds like your dad is kind of a trigger for him. So I'd probably just have your dad avoid doing like the face-to-face interactions as much as possible. Maybe your dad can help with more of the behind the scenes stuff. The reassurance I can give is that eventually this will pass. What you're dealing with now will not be the same thing you're dealing with 6 months from now. It may be replaced by something equally as annoying or hard, but it will not be that specific thing. So let's see. Is developing a distrust of others, paranoia a sign of dementia? It can be, for sure. Um, yeah, my channel is about dementia caregivers, if you guys are curious. So, all right. Okay, let's see. I may answer one or two more questions before I close out this live. Is the membership all on Zoom? Again, for those who are just joining us, I've been answering questions and talking a little bit about my membership community, Dementia Caregiving Made Easier. Um, this membership community isn't all on Zoom. I'd say some of it's on Zoom, some of it's on Facebook, but most of it is in our member space, which everybody has access to no matter what social media they have. So that there's plenty of places to find it. Again, our group Dementia Caregiving Made Easier is closing in just a couple days. So go to dementiasuccesspath.com if you would like to join. Okay. Is frequent moaning or groaning a symptom of dementia? Um, Not necessarily. I probably need a little bit more context about it. My grandma asked me to carry her broken fridge out of the house, and when I did, she started screaming that I had no business doing that, and that was evil for me removing the fridge. Yeah, yeah, that can happen sometimes. I'm really sorry that happened to you. That's oof, that is a real bummer that she asked you to do something, you did it, and she got upset. But yeah, that can definitely happen. And I'd say what's there is maybe just moving it halfway and see how she reacts, or maybe just doing what she asks when she isn't there would probably be the better solution. All right. Let's see. I'll get maybe one or two more questions from our workshop that I didn't get a chance to answer. See, medication management. My mom lives on her own and gets her medication and booklet a few days a week. Um, she says she takes her medication when we stop by on the weekend. We see that she's missed doses. Yeah. So if your person with dementia is still in early stages, still able to live independently, but struggling with this, I'd recommend like automatic pill dispensers, or somebody, or even hiring somebody or you yourself coming in whenever they need to take their medications to help manage that for sure. Um, all right. Is there a problem in checking gas stove many times at night? I mean, that can be a problem. I guess it just depends on if you guys consider that a problem. All right. Let's see. Think I'll get maybe one more question before. Let's see. How do you go off turning the stove permanently for a person with dementia? The person no longer cooks, but a built-in digital clock is important to them. Yeah, so I'm sure Google can tell you how to, like, I'd say I recommend turning off the gas first, and then either removing the stove altogether, or just making sure that like you take off like the covers where you could turn the stove on and off, that type of stuff, and maybe get them a different digital clock. Am I a doctor? No, I'm not a doctor. I'm a dementia educator. All right. So, with all that being said, guys, I think I'm going to end the live. Again, if you are interested in joining our community, Dementia Caregiving Made Easier, you can do so for the next day or two. Uh, you can join at dementiasuccesspath.com. Um, so, I hope you guys got a lot out of our discussion, and I'll see you guys very soon.